How's it going, guys? This is Etzer here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to color and shade your icons. You can see the finalized icons and the results down here. They've got some nice shading, some nice color, some outer glow. They look like they could potentially fit into the game. Here's 5 icons that are completely uncolored and unshaded that we're going to be going through today. We're going to be starting with this shield, which is very simple, but then we'll get into some more complex spiders, waves, and other things just to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to be going through this tutorial with the understanding that you guys have a basic knowledge of Photoshop. If you guys don't have that yet, click the card right up in that top right corner. It's going to take you to the first tutorial I made where it will teach you how not only to create the icons that I have shown here today, but it will also teach you how to use Photoshop and all the basics that you're going to need for this tutorial. Taking a look at some of the finalized icons, you can see a lot of complex coloring, some shading in every one. You can see in this one we've got some gradient where it turns from one color to another. There's another gradient over here. You can see there's some complex shading on the spider's legs with some darker in the back. There's also a little bit of complexity here with some shading that's all kind of a shadow, I suppose. And then this just to give some cool highlights. We're probably going to be using a lot of these different techniques just so you guys can understand all of them. And of course, this is not going to be my only and last tutorial about these. If you guys want to see more about how to make these icons, how to make spiders, how to make different things in this game, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your guys' feedback, and I will be sure to make the next tutorial as soon as possible. With that out of the way, let's us begin with this first icon up here. It is a basic shield icon. It would probably be one of the most simple icons in the entire game, but I think it's pretty good for just demonstrating a couple techniques that we'd like to try here. There's probably going to be a simple color outside, another color inside. There's going to be maybe a light blue in here, and then that light green out here. Again, it's very simple. It's just square shaped. Everything should be very easy. Over here, you'll see the layer selected is this entire shield. You'll see it's the one in red, and I can move it around, and this is the icon itself. I can hide and minimize it again. This is the icon we're going to be using for this first demonstration. What we're going to start off doing is we're going to start off by creating a new layer. We're just going to name this new layer color. You don't have to name it anything, it's just something that I like to do to keep myself organized. In this tutorial, the main things we're going to be using are the magic wand tool, the rectangle selection tool, and then finally we're also going to be using the fill tool or the gradient tool. So starting off, we'll use the most basic tool, which is the fill bucket tool. At the start, it might appear like this sort of gradient from black to white, which is the gradient tool. We'll be using that as well, but for now we want the paint bucket tool. We're going to hold down on the gradient and we're going to see a pop-up menu appear, and we're just going to click on the paint bucket for that to pop up. See, we have a paint bucket now, and if we go around and we pick a color from over here, let's pick a light blue and we fill, you'll notice the entire document fills in that light blue color. This isn't good because essentially we only want to be filling this part in here. We want to fill all this. We don't want to fill out any here. We don't want that. What we want is we want a fill that only fills in this area. So with the fill bucket tool selected, there's going to be a toolbar up here that appears. The two buttons we care about are the all layers button and then this tolerance text box right here. We're going to be using these for the most part. First, what all layers does is essentially when it's checked, it essentially takes every single line from every single layer. So as you can see, we have the color layer, which we have open right now, but then we also have this shield layer, and then we also have all these other layers here. It takes every single layer and it basically stacks them on top of each other when it fills. So if I have this unselected, if I have all layers unselected and I fill, it will fill the entire color space because it assumes that there's nothing here and that it's only just going to fill the entire space. However, now if I change this to all layers, it's going to see the shield layer on this over here. It's going to see that, and when I click fill, it's going to acknowledge that it's there and only fill inside those black outlines. So you can already tell why this is very useful because now we have essentially a color. So now let's take a nice green color and we'll do all layers here again. Tolerance isn't that important, but essentially if you have a high tolerance like 250, it essentially means that it will basically overlap lines faster, but its low tolerance will basically not come up to the edges as much. So if I have a very low tolerance, like let's say 1, and I fill, you'll notice that up at the edges, you'll notice you get this kind of grainy stuff. Whereas if I have a higher tolerance, you get it more overlapping here. It's not a big deal. For icons, I usually set it at around 30. I think that's pretty much generally default for what you guys have, so just keep it around 30 and you guys should be fine. Let's fill this in again, and now that we have a icon, let's try to make some glow on the outside. So if you haven't seen other icons, you'll notice that there's this light little blue glow or red glow around them, which is essentially they kind of pop out more. So we're going to be adding that to this one. For this, I like to use something called blending options. What we're going to do is we're going to take the shield layer selected right here, and we are going to right-click the shield layer. You're going to get this big drop-down menu. If you remember last time we used it for rasterize layer and duplicate layer. This time we're going to click the very top option, blending options. This has a multitude of tools that are all very useful for their own uses. What we're mostly focused on is the stroke tool. When I click stroke, you'll notice that a sort of outline appears. Generally, it might be a different one. It might be on the inside for you, so it might look something like this. Might look something like this. It could really look like anything. All these tools are pretty helpful. So the two things that we're going to be looking at are the color and the position, and I guess we're going to be doing size as well, but that's pretty self-explanatory. For color, you use the second color mostly, so if you click on that, you'll see this color palette appear, and if you hover over here, you'll see an eyedropper tool appear, and whatever you click on, it will change to that color. We're going to make it light blue since that is the secondary color, and then we're going to change the position to outside. There's three different positions here. There's center, there's inside, and there's outside. They all have various uses, but essentially what outside does is it makes an outline, basically, and that's what we want because this is the glow. We're going to set this size. We can change it to very big. It's very self-explanatory. This looks like it could be a decent size. And that alone is a decent looking, simple tutorial on how to make this type of thing. Let's go into shading now though, because that's also very important. An icon like this is pretty bland, and it could definitely use some shading. We are going to create another layer up here, and we're going to call it shade. Again, you don't have to make another layer, but it helps with some organization, and you don't have to name it, but it helps with organization. For this, when I shade, I always start with a black color. And then what I do is I essentially take my brush tool over here. I take my brush tool, and I select a brush size up here. Let's make it kind of big. And then I sort of color where I want the shading to be. So I think what I want is I want this half of the shield to be kind of faded like this. So I'm gonna color in that half, but as you can see, it's kind of a bad line. So we want to make this perfectly straight, and we're going to use the rectangular marquee tool, is what it's called. It's essentially a selection box where when you select with it, you'll essentially notice that it pops up, and when you let go, you'll notice there's a box. And essentially, I can only draw on this box. So now, if I try to draw outside, you'll notice that I'm not allowed to, and I'm trying to draw over here, and it's cut off. So this is helpful because it also cuts off erasing, which means that if I have a line like this, and I erase, it will erase perfectly down the center, just how I want it to. If you guys are stuck in this box and you don't know how to unselect it, hit Control D or Command D, and it will deselect the box. This is something I struggled with a lot at first. This essentially makes it so that you can click around places. Sometimes you'll be in this tool and you'll try to draw something over here and you'll be like, why isn't this drawing? This is probably because this box is there. Just hit Control D or Command D and it will go away. You'll notice though that it's completely black, and that doesn't really fit with Geometry Dash at all. So we want to make this a more dark blue like this rather than a pitch black. To do that, we're going to be using the opacity tool over here. With the shade layer selected, we click this, and if you notice when we slide it, you'll notice it gets less opaque or more opaque. Essentially, this controls how see-through the black is. The lower the value, the lighter the shading. The higher the value, the darker the shading. You can play around with this to your own personal taste. I think that looks just about right. I'm going to make the outer glow a little bit bigger. And that looks pretty good. And that is one finished shaded icon. This is the most simple way to do it. I'm going to go over some more advanced techniques in the second part of the tutorial. If you guys find them necessary or want to know these more complex tutorials, please stick around for the next half of the video. If not, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, etc., etc. But without further ado, let's just get on to these other icons that we have here, and we're going to do some more complex designs. So let's get into it. So starting off, let's do this cube here. We are going to create a new layer once again, name it color. Double click on an image to name it color if you want. That is how I do it, at least. Let's pick a color over here. Let's pick a pink, and let's just fill in some spots that we think are good. And then this inside, let's make a light blue. Get some riot colors going. Let's just play around with these a little bit, switch the spots. Yeah, that could be good. So I think for this middle part, I kind of want a gradient just so that it's not just pink. So maybe something like this kind of. I'll go over how to do this in a second, don't worry. Something like this so that there's a bit more gradient. And then I also want maybe some shading down here, right here, and then maybe make this part darker and this part darker. Very, very rough sketch, but you guys, I think, hopefully can understand what I want to achieve here. Let us go straight into shading. First off, I'm going to have that black and then use my brush. I'm going to draw in all the places that I want the shading to be. I think I want this entire spot to be darker, just the entire thing. And then this one as well. Let's go over to the layer tool, of course, and make it a little bit opaque. And to be honest, I don't really like that. I think I want a little more variation. So instead of the rectangular marquee tool, we're going to click, hold down, and you'll see various options. We're going to click elliptical marquee tool for this purpose because it's more circular. And when we select, you'll notice it's ellipse shaped. We are going to highlight, let's say, this spot right here, and then erase that shading, and then move it over here, and do a similar thing, and erase this shading. And so now you've got a little bit more variation. I kind of like that a bit more. Let's add some shading in the middle. Let's add a little dot. We'll take this tool again, hold shift to make a perfect circle, center it in the middle. We're going to click Control-Shift-I. And what Control-Shift-I does is it takes the selected area outside of the circle. So now when I erase, it erases the outside of the circle rather than the inside. We're going to click Control-D to deselect that tool. We'll find that shading is perfectly in the middle. And you know what? Let's go crazy. Let's add a bit more shading. Let's add some shading up here and down here. And we'll use that marquee tool again, the elliptical marquee tool. We're going to erase this part, move this up here, erase this part, and then change the opacity. And already it looks pretty good, but I want to teach you guys how to do the gradient next. For gradient, I use the magic wand tool and the gradient tool. To get to the gradient tool, remember you hold down the paint bucket or the gradient and you click on gradient. You'll see a lot of different options. If you click up here, you'll see there's 5 different techniques as well as a color sort of palette, essentially. If we click on the color thing, you'll see a lot of different presets. The one we want is the black or whatever color is in the top left that slowly fades to the checkerboard pattern, which means opacity. So we're going to click that one and click OK. And you'll notice when we change the color over here, you'll notice that this color over here changes as well. So if it's red, this one turns to red, etc. So for this one, I think I want the color to be this light blue. So the gradient is now this light blue. There's 5 tools: linear, radial, angle, reflected, and diamond. We're going to be using the linear one the most, but I actually might use the angular gradient for the ball later, which might come in handy. The first one is the linear one, and you'll notice if we click and drag, you'll notice a gradient appears with this light blue slowly fading to just completely clear, opaque, and see-through to whatever is below. If we zoom out, you'll notice it goes all the way down, and this isn't what we want. We want it to only be inside the icon like the last time. There isn't a sample layer, all layers button like there was in the fill bucket tool. You'll notice the fill bucket tool had the all layers, which is really helpful for filling color. In the gradient tool, there is none of that. What we use is we use the magic wand tool for this. The magic wand tool comes right here. It might appear as this brush with the outline. If you hold down, you'll find the magic wand tool. It essentially selects an area just like that marquee rectangular tool does, but it essentially selects it within a color. So again, you have this tolerance and sample all layers buttons up here, like we did in the fill tool. And this is essentially for being able to pick how much of an area you want. We want the selected sample all layers on, and then we want this at maybe 30 again. And you'll notice when we click, you'll notice that it selects the pink area only. If we Control D and we select the black, you'll notice that it selects all of the black. Same with this color, same with this color. It will select the color that you have selected if it's at 30. So what we want is we want these two areas in a gradient. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to click the gradient tool, and I'm going to set a gradient like this until I like how it looks. That looks pretty good. It sort of nicely shifts between the two colors. We're going to select over here. We're going to click the gradient tool again, and we're going to do this one more time. See if I can get it to look the same on each side. Not exactly the same, but looks pretty identical. And that alone is pretty much a finished icon. Let's just add the outer sort of outline right here. And there you have it, a shaded icon with a pretty cool looking shade job and some gradients, nice color. And that is definitely submittable to the icon contest. So there's another example. Let's go into just a few more advanced techniques. The first one, we'll do this ball, and we're going to use a different style gradient for the ball, of course. We're going to click the ball, new layer, and let's just fill in some color. I think what I want to do is I want it to change between pink and blue, or let's say red and let's do red and yellow for this one. It's going to shift between red and yellow as it goes around the ball. So for this, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paint bucket tool and I'm just going to fill the entire outside with red. Just in time for Valentine's Day, we've got some red hearts. And you know what? Since it's Valentine's Day, let's make the secondary color. Let's make it a pink. It might not demonstrate my point as well, so I might actually have to change it back. But let us just try this out. Essentially what Angular does is you'll notice it essentially rotates it starting at one point and goes all the way around, slowly fading back. So this is really helpful because if we can get this to go in the right order, you can see that slowly as it goes around the ball, it slowly will turn back to red. So this is exactly what we want. We're going to take all this, we're going to have that layer selected, and we're going to use that magic wand tool to select all of it. If you hold shift, you can multi-select, which is what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to click here, click shift. You'll see the plus appear next to the magic wand. Click shift and you can see we can select multiple at a time. Now that we have all this color selected, we will take a highlight right here and we'll just draw it like so. And you'll notice that it pretty nicely rotates back to a red. We're just going to take an eraser just to erase this part right here just because it's not needed. But that is pretty good. Let's add some color into the middle. Just take this color and just place it right there in the middle, and then let's add a little bit of shading just for fun. Take some black, add some shading. Perfect. Okay, so that's a pretty simple icon once again, but again, like, it's hopefully to help you guys understand the techniques that I'm using. And then you guys can use these techniques to make much better icons than these. These are really just to give you guys the techniques and the skill set to make these. I've seen a lot of entries already. We've gotten 4,000 plus entries, and they're all amazing, you guys. Make sure to keep submitting your icons to the contest that me and Viper are hosting. Continue to do that. Yeah, you guys, so that is the ball. I'm just going to run through Wave and Spider really quickly. I might not get to the spider in this episode just because I haven't even taught you really how to create a spider yet, but I'll just make some basic shading for it as I wrap up the video. Wave, let's just get really simple. Let's fill in all of this, then make a green, and you can get really quick at doing this. We'll just make a couple lines like this, and then make that opaque, and there we have some nice shading. There's some decent shading, I suppose. And then let's just put a dot right here in the center, kind of cool looking. And then just, I don't know, let's just take right click wave, blending options, stroke, take this green color, and then there's a wave. But yeah, you guys, I hope you guys sort of have learned all the basic techniques on how to do all this stuff. I really hope you guys have found all these videos helpful. Of course, make sure to leave a like on any of these if you have enjoyed these videos. This has been Etzer. I will definitely see you guys in some more tutorials in the future. Don't forget to leave some comments below on what types of tutorials you guys want to see in the future. I really want to make this something that you guys drive. So if there's something that you guys want to know about, like how to make a certain type of spider or how to do something, I'm happy to help out because this is something I'm really good at. If you guys want tutorials on texture packs, so how to make buttons for your own texture packs, let me know. I will be open to any critiques, any ideas for future tutorials, anything that you guys want me to do, I will definitely consider doing. But yeah, you guys, that will be it for this tutorial. As I'm wrapping up this spider, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in a future tutorial, in a future video. I've got lots of stuff going on, a lot of stuff planned for the upcoming future. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed or found this helpful. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys soon.